Lying in the brush were two heavily decomposed bodies. The men were lying neatly side by side on a bed of cut leaves, dressed in formal suit jackets and heavy, waterproof raincoats. A physical examination found no signs of a struggle, no broken bones, and no visible trauma to suggest a cause for their deaths. But the most unsettling detail was found on their faces. Both men were wearing custom-cut, heavy lead masks, shaped like oversized sunglasses without eye holes, shielding explicitly designed to block out high-intensity radiation. The physical arrangement of the scene lacked the chaos of a homicide or the typical hallmarks of a suicide. Instead, the precise placement of the bodies and the highly specific equipment suggested a deliberate scientific experiment that had been paused and left to rot in the rain. 3 days earlier, on August 17th, Manoel Pereira da Cruz and Miguel Jose Viana were electronics technicians, leaving their hometown for a routine business trip to purchase components and a new work vehicle. They arrived in Niterói by bus at 2 in the afternoon. Over the next hour and a half, they made 2 mundane stops: a local shop to buy those waterproof raincoats and a bar to purchase a bottle of water. Witness testimonies later detailed a quiet intensity beneath these errands. Both the shopkeeper and the bartender described the men as visibly anxious, noting that they checked their watches every few minutes. After securing the water, they left the commercial district. Without a vehicle, they walked directly up the steep, overgrown face of Vintém Hill, hiking into an impending heavy rainstorm. A highly documented afternoon of shopping leads directly to an isolated peak, heavy radiation shielding, and 2 dead technicians. To bridge the gap between their final purchases and the mountaintop, investigators turned to what the men carried. Near the victims, police recovered the empty water bottle and a simple towel stamped with the initials AAS. Inside one of their pockets, officers found a small handwritten note in Portuguese. It was a rigid set of instructions dictating their exact movements for the afternoon. This maps out the note's directives. 16:30, be at agreed location. Then a 2-hour gap. 18:30, swallow capsules. It continues. After effect, protect metals, wait for mask signal. This explains the lead masks. They anticipated an external, high-intensity event. Yet another detail complicated the idea of a purely scientific excursion. The large sums of cash Manoel and Miguel had withdrawn from home to buy a work vehicle were entirely missing from their pockets. The artifacts split the investigation into 2 irreconcilable directions. The note and masks pointed toward a highly orchestrated esoteric ritual, while the missing cash suggested a calculated terrestrial robbery. The investigation faltered at the outset because of the steep terrain and the continuing storm. Police left the bodies exposed on the hill for an extra 24 hours before recovery. By the time the corpses reached the coroner in Rio de Janeiro, severe organ degradation had set in. Toxicological screens could not detect trace poisons or drugs, hiding the chemical nature of the capsules mentioned in the note. Facing a biological dead end, the Brazilian military took over. Armed soldiers were dispatched to sweep the crime scene, scanning the hillside and the masks for anomalous energy. The sweep produced no results. Geiger counters detected absolutely 0 ambient radiation in the soil, on the foliage, or embedded in the metal. Without toxicology or radiological data, the forensic investigation stripped the case of physical truth, forcing detectives to rely entirely on the victims' psychological profiles to explain their presence on the hill. Background checks found that Manoel and Miguel were active members of a local scientific spiritualist cult. This group attempted to trigger extraterrestrial communication by mixing psychedelic drugs with high-frequency radio experiments. Within this belief system, the masks served as a functional tool. They were intended to shield their retinas from the blinding celestial light they expected to witness during alien contact. And they were not the first. In 1962, 4 years earlier, another electronics technician named Hermes de Castro was found dead on a nearby hill, wearing an identical lead mask under nearly identical circumstances. Manoel and Miguel were not victims of a sudden psychotic break. The evidence suggests they were willing participants in a systemic, highly organized, and ultimately lethal belief structure. Despite these findings, the official justice system hit a wall. Without a demonstrable cause of death, the autopsy report was permanently classified as undetermined. We are left with 2 unprovable realities. Either the 2 technicians suffered an accidental psychedelic overdose during a ritual, or they were lured up that hill by a cult leader to be robbed. Both theories circle back to the same unanswered question embedded in the handwritten note. Someone had to dictate those chronological steps. Who gave the instructions, and who was the signal master they were waiting for in the storm? The lead masks of Vintém Hill remains a legendary cold case because the bizarre physical artifacts and the extreme psychological motives perfectly cancel each other out. Whatever truth brought those men to the top of the hill was buried with them